Hi guys, welcome back. Anyone that's new, welcome. Right, hopefully you'll like this one. We're going to make something of use, okay, and something to save you money. Right. I don't know whether any of you see the other night, Mark Beckett, gentleman woodturner. He done his one on doing pendants. Very good. I enjoyed it. Yep. I like Mark. He's all right. He's easy to watch. He was doing. There was a lot of people asking about the chucking of these pendants. Okay, like these little. These are a couple of ones I've made there. And Mark done his. He done them with a jam chuck. So he made a jam chuck and they fit in that. Put it in the chuck so you can do the front of it. And then he put them into his soft jaws. I mean, I've got soft jaws here. These are the Record Power ones, just under 20 quid. Brilliant buy. But I've already got these set for doing other. I use these for other things. So I made my set of jaws quite a while back, and I thought might be of interest to people. I know Wayne the Woodturner, he was saying about you can get for the Axminster chucks, you can get the jaw carriers, spare jaw carriers. They sell them, which is fine. You can mount your wood onto that and make a wooden chuck, which is all right. But you've got to have an Axminster chuck, and you've got to go and buy jaw carriers, or you can buy actual jaws that you mount wood to. There's all the things out there, but it's all stuff you've got to buy. So for mine, I made these a few years back, and these are them, and they fit on your standard chuck. You just need your. You don't have to take a jaw off. You don't have to undo a screw. Anything. You just use your chuck that you will use for everything else you do. The chuck you decide to use for it is entirely up to you. But the chuck you make them for is the chuck you'll use them on. Okay, and that's it. So, right, mine go on this chuck, and what I'll do is I'll show you how it works first, and then I'll show you how to make them. Okay, you do one for all your centre turning bits, and then one for your off centre turning bits. Now, if you want to get into this, so if you ain't done it before, anyone, one of the best woods for doing it with, I find personally, I mean, some beautiful exotic woods and stuff are really good for it because they work good on end grain. And the same as this. This is yew, and I mean this yew, it's got some beautiful patterns to it and colours to it. Now I buy mine from Snayton. I get a bag. They do like a plastic bag full of it. You get loads of bits in there, all different sizes. Normally 20 quid a bag. Sometimes they're a bit cheaper. It's all part season, waxed on the ends, and they're just logs. And I just turn it round, turn it all to 55 mil, and then I just part them off 10 mil thick. Okay, and they make your pendants. It's beautiful end grain. It's absolutely a fantastic, because you've got to be careful. Some end grains can be dead snap, but yew is absolutely fantastic for it. So right, what I'll do, I'll make one, so you can see me make one, and then I'll go through exactly how you make these jaws up. And these, as I said, you have one of each, and all you do, these are just my standard jaws that come with the Record Power chucks. So you get these whenever you buy the chuck, okay? If you've got Axminster, you'll have your C jaws or whatever jaws you've got, okay? Right, so I'm going to just mount these on here. Right, now take my piece. Okay, that fits, just pops in there. I hold with one finger in the centre, and I just tighten my chuck. Okay, that's it. That's that done. Right, okay, so now what I would do is just turn it. Now, whatever, this ain't about me making pendants. This is just for me to show you the chuck system that I do. What's I saying?
So it's not about finishing.
Yeah, it's not about finishing or anything like that. I'm just literally showing you how to make one of these chucks. So if you want to get into making pendants, these two, they're cheap. The dearest thing for these is the elastic bands. I bought you got a dozen in a pack for £3.99 in WH Smith's. Absolute complete bloody rip-off. For elastic band, come on. But none of the other shops had them. Nowhere had them. So, yeah, I had to go into WH Smith's. So, a good tip there. I don't see mine very often. If you see your post person, man, lady, you know, when they're not striking, just ask them if they've got any elastic bands. They've always got a pocket for elastic. They just go, yeah. They have the nice thick ones. So this doesn't, apart from you know, your bit of wood, you've all got bits of your wood turners, you've all got bits of wood. Don't cost you a penny to make this. And it's absolutely brilliant. Right, I'm going to just turn this one. Right, so I'm just gonna come in there. I'm just gonna taper this in slightly. Right, that's got a little bobble there, but I actually I'm going to take it down a little bit. I actually quite like that little bobble. Right, as I say, I'm not sanding, so that's it. I've just gone to the edge, I've just done a little dome on it. That's it. Right, that's all I've done is a little dome. And now, all I have to do, let's move that out of the way so you can see. Undo my jaws, keep your finger on it, because remember, this just comes off like that. You won't lose nothing, you won't lose anything, but it just comes off your jaws. So what you do is keep your finger on it until you start to, you've expanded into the chuck now. So just like that, okay. Hang on, let me get it. It's more a case of rattling it to get it out. I don't have fingernails. There you go, it's out. Turn it round, pop it back in. One finger, tighten. That's it, simple as that. Right, now, some people on the back, they say they leave it flat, so you've got a back and a front. Some people want to taper it, you might want to scallop it in. Whatever you do, that is down to you. I'm not here to show you a design, I'm just doing, okay? So we'll get started. We'll take that little nibble off. Right, no scraping, okay? We don't do no scraping. Cuts. And your best way for cutting these, go centre out. Right, I've tapered mine very, very slightly. I don't need to taper it, but I'm just... And you can come right off because it don't matter about the chuck, it's just wood. And when you get making a few, you'll get to, your chuck will sort of make its way to your personal thing. Right, okay. Right, so that's that one works. And then to take that out, I mean, you don't have it, you can take it off if you want. Just open it up, pop your pendant out, okay? And that's it. A little bit of a, just do a little bit of a, around the outside like this. Most of your pendants you do a bit of hand sanding on anyway. Okay, just cleans up the edge. Yew is a fantastic wood. I mean, that, as you can see, that ain't been sanded. I haven't done nothing to that. I ain't even put a finish on that, and it's already got a shine on it. Okay, so bit of waxing on that, and it just look beautiful. If you want to put your little marks on it, do what you want to do. They're your pendants. You do what you want to do. Right, so that's done with for the front. That does that side and that side. Okay, and I'm going to show you how to make this shortly. Right, so let's put that over there. Now we have the off center one. Okay, this one does for the hole. I might actually wait until I do another one, because this one's for a slightly smaller pendant. Let me see if I can, and it goes on a different chuck, this one. I'll get it in there. Yeah, I can do it in there. Okay, right, I have to put this on a different chuck. I haven't got the jaws on the other chuck for this one of mine, being that I'm showing this first. If not, then what I'll do is I'll just make the other one up and then show you it once I make it. This will have to go onto my SC1 chuck, because it's the only one that's got jaws for this. I used to have them on this chuck, but I took them off to use them for something else. Right, let's see if it's going to work on the SC. It might work on this chuck. Yeah, I think so. All right, let's see. As long as I can get hold of it, all right. Yeah. Yeah, that all seems good. Right, so that does my off centre. Okay, and this has got. It's already got a hole in it for a 10mm drill bit. This one. So we want a 10mm drill bit. Okay, so I'll put my chuck in. Right, just like Blue Peter, here's one I prepared earlier, 10mm drill bit. Right, okay, so I'm going to slow the lathe down, and we're going to come up and we're going to drill our hole. There, we're through. That's that done. Right, so just so you can see it. Right, so there's our hole, and you'll have to determine when you make this chuck how far down you want your hole from the end. Okay, you'll have to decide on what you want for your personal pendants. Whether you want it, some do them up near the top, depending on how hard your wood is. Some do them further down. It's entirely what you want to do. You've got to let your imagination go for that. Right, okay, so now face shield on. What we do is we've got to do our little chamfer around the hole. Right, so we've got to turn the speed up a bit. Right. Let's have a look and see what we've got. Right, there we go, that looks alright. Okay, so now for this one, because like I say, it's not actually meant for these chuck jaws. So what I have to do with this one is I'll have to take this off to be able to turn this over. Okay, and all we've got to do is pop that out. Whoops. Like so. Get our 10mm drill bit. Put it back. Don't put the Sharpie bit in. Just put the end of it in, and we'll use that just to find our hole. Okay, we'll put that back on our chuck jaws. We put it down. Right, now we can take our drill bit out. Very important, don't tighten it with the drill bit in there. Finger on the front, okay, as you tighten the chuck. Tighten down. There we go, that's in. Now we come over, and what we're going to do, we're just going to do exactly the same thing, a little chamfer on the back of it. Yeah, that should do. It's flatter on the back, so it's not going to have that scallop look to it, because it's flat on the back. It's not sorry, it's not cove on the back, so it's going to look more just like a little round. It's not going to have that little scallop shape to it. Right, so we'll take that off. Okay, like I said, you would be able to leave this on and take this in and out. It's just that because it's there. Right, and then all you need to do with this is get a little bit of sandpaper, put it in your hole. It's just where we've drilled it. Okay, and that cleans the hole out. Right, and there we go. Okay, that's our little pendant. All right, so you'll put your like Lisa's done here. So then you just put your cord round through there, like so. Okay, and that'll just hang like that. Let's say if you dome them front and back, then you get this slight scallop shape to your. You get this oval shape when you come in on the hole. If you don't, you get more of a rounded shape if you don't do the scalloping. But there you go. It's all different. It's all looks good anyway.
Yeah.
Right, so that's how we do them. Right, so how do we make these? That's the important bit and the bit you want to know.
Yeah.
Right, so let's do this.
Let's do this.
I'm going to put that drill bit back there. I'm going to put this chisel over here. And put that piece of wood on there. Take this chuck off and we'll get ourselves ready. That's not comfy, that handle. And there's my little tank. I tell you, that is so, oh, lovely. Right, okay. First thing we've got to do is sort out, right, we want 2 pieces of wood, like this. You could use ply if you want. I wouldn't really recommend it because it's layered and you're relying on front bits. So this was just a square block and I've cut it down, but I want it bowl orientation, so you want it face. You don't want this to be end grain, okay? You don't want this to be end grain. You want it to be like this bowl orientation. It's a lot stronger for this. Right, okay, these are, to give you the measurements, right, 110 mil, so just under, well, just over 4.5 inches, and these are 35 mil deep. Okay, now that is the important bit. Now I'm going to say before we go any further, do not skip any of this video. Right, I don't know whether I said it when I started, I've forgotten. Do not skip any of this video because there's little bits in here you're going to have to know, okay, as we go through. They're things that I've learned through making these to get to the point where they work like this. If you don't do certain things, they're not going to work, okay? Right, very important, do not skimp. You want 35 mil. 30 mil, the minimum. 30 mil's just about dead right, really. But give yourself 35, you've got enough to play with. That is really important. It doesn't have the strength if you don't have that thickness. So don't think you 25 mil and that'll be all right. It won't be. Right, okay. So what I'm going to do first off, I need to mount them in. I'm going to mount them in my chuck with my big jaws, okay? Because I've got it, it's what I've got, so I'm going to use it. If you haven't got that, I'd suggest putting them on a worm screw or something. What you need to do is you need to put, let me grab this one. You've got to put this slot in the back, okay, for your jaws to go into. Right? You do not want to remove the middle bit because that's what you clamp down on, and the outer bit is what you open them up on. They just sit over your jaws, okay? So, very important to get that right. Now, if you haven't got a chuck like this, you can put it on a worm screw, you can put it on a glue block. However you do it, that's what you're going to have to work out. For me, I've got this chuck, I've got these jaws. and they are absolutely perfect for this job. Okay, the centre marks on there are just where this was a square block and I rounded it. Okay, I put it between centres and I just turned it and got rid of that. It was actually just a square block like that. Right, okay, so that's tightened in there. Now again, it's very important to get this centre bit right for your jaws. Okay, so you want your jaws to be to their, what you would say, their perfect circle, which on here that would be when you've got pretty much about 1/4 of an inch, just under 1/4 of an inch. Mine's just there. It's just going to tighten up on that. Okay, but when to get that right, don't take your measurement at that. Allow an extra 3mm or so, because you're going to be cutting this, so you got to allow now for the deduction you'll have after you've cut, because it's going to make it smaller. So don't do that to the exact size at this moment. Make it just literally 2mm bigger is fine. My blade is 1mm thick. Okay, on my bandsaw, whatever thickness it is on your bandsaw, what saw you're going to cut this with, allow for 2 cuts, and that's how it's going to reduce by that amount. Otherwise you'll do it all, you'll put it on and you think, oh, it don't fit. It fitted first off, but it don't fit afterwards. So just allow that little bit extra. Okay, so that's what I've done there, and I've got my calipers here, and I've already got them set, and they're set for the internal grip. So I've set them for this bit here. Okay, what I'm going to do this bit at. So I can actually, yeah, that's it. It's just over that, because obviously I've got to allow for the blade. So set them to this size. That size is important, but not as. You basically want that gap, the thickness of your jaws. Okay. Now my jaws on this chuck, they're not that thick. Obviously, if I was using that one, they're a lot thicker. They're nearly twice as thick as these ones. So you'd have to allow for that. Okay, in your slot. Right. Hope everyone's following me. Yes? Yeah. Good. Okay, right. So we're going to mark that. A little bit of speed up. Right, okay, so come in with your left point, move it until you get the two match up. Do not touch the wood with this point. It will make it flip. Just this one. Okay? Right, they're matching up. So that's that one. I'm just going to use my parting tool. Now, I'll get to it in a sec. Just let me start cutting. Oh bugger, hang on, I've gone the wrong way, haven't I? Yep, sorry. Forget that bit for a minute. I've gone the wrong way. I wasn't thinking what I was doing. I was thinking of the next thing I was going to say. I'm going to turn this round. That's going to be... That's okay, that's going to do for my pendant. So, I'm alright. I've got to turn it round. I was thinking of something else and I wasn't thinking of what I was actually doing then. Right, okay. I'll do that little bit again.
You were coming in to take it out, weren't you?
Yeah, I was taking that out.
Take it out.
I wasn't, I was thinking of something else. Right, okay. Right, Yeah. Oh, sorry about that, guys. I was totally thinking about something else then. That the next bit that I need to actually tell you, because right, first I'm going to check and make sure, right, that is the right size for me. I'm going to check that my jaws, when I close them, yes, they're on tight and they fit perfect there, and that when I open them, yes, they fit perfect and they're tight. Okay. Now, what I was wanting to say, when you do that groove, when you do this, it's very important, they don't work if you don't do this, that this wood backs right up onto the back of the jaws there, all right? So what I'll do is, hang on, let me take this out, because this bit's done with for this bit here. Right, it must fit right up onto the back of those jaws, okay? So when I undo that, there, like that. So when it goes on, normally, you'd all know, dovetail jaws, you don't want it to bottom out, because the idea of a dovetail is when it tightens, it sucks it in, it pulls it tight, okay? So you don't want it to bottom out. On this, it has to, okay? It has to bottom out on this back here. So you can't have less. If it's even that much, it won't be any good, okay? It won't work how it's meant to work. It's got to be tight. So you can go slightly over, but not under. That's how it's got to be. Now, this is the reason why, because we've got to have that depth, and then we've got to do the recess in the front, which takes the pendant, that we've got to have this thickness. Otherwise, you just don't have the strength left in the middle, and after a few pellets, it'll just break on you. And you don't want that breaking when it's spinning around, because it's only going to be held together with elastic bands once it breaks. So, right, that one's done. While we've got this chuck on, we'll do the next one, okay? And we'll make sure we do it the right way this time. Stop and think about what I'm doing, not what I've got to say. Would be better. Right, okay. Bring this up and we'll quickly do this one. I'll just stop and check it. Right, no, see now that one, I'm about that would be perfect if I was actually using that. If I was actually clamping that down, that'd be perfect, because when I tighten that down, if that was a bowl, that'd be perfect, because that would be the dovetail would be sucking it in, okay? But that is no good for this chuck, for what I want to do. So I've got to take that off and try and get it so you don't have too much play, okay? When it's in there, you don't want it to be too sloppy a fit. But I've just got to go tiny bit deeper. There we go. Like I said, slightly over is better than slightly under. There we go. That's going to fit perfectly. Okay. That's going to be a perfect fit for me. Right, that's done. Now, what I should have done with the other one, but I'm going to do with this one, before I take it out, I now want to mark just in between these chuck jaws, okay? like so. Right, what I'm actually going to do, I want the line on the front, so I'm actually going to put that in. Right, that's that one done. And I'll mount the other one back in there quickly just to do the same for that. I want it on this side. Okay, right, so we've got that bit done. That's the work with this chuck done. If you've got, if you're using a worm screw, then you're done with the worm screw. Okay, now you're going to mount it onto the chuck. Rather than me shouting. Now you're going to mount it onto, you'll be mounting it onto the chuck that you're going to use when you're doing your pendants, okay, or pennants, depending on how you look at it. Right, now what I'm going to do, I'm just going to mark, before I do anything, I'm just going to join the lines up. Okay.
That's across the face of it, isn't it?
Yeah, this is just for when I'm going to cut it in half at the bandsaw. Right, that's that one done. That one's going on that chuck in a second to be marked up. Not to be marked up, to have
Drilled.
the centre bit done. Right, okay. And like I say, once you're doing it, I mean, you can make these up for as many different sizes. Because really, it's better to have it. Well, I'll put that one there for a minute. It's better to have it for the sizes that you're gonna use. It's adjustable. It's got a bit of tolerance if you make them too slightly bigger or slightly smaller. But pretty much it's for what you're gonna do. Okay. So, but like I said, it's pennies, so you can really basically make as many as you want, can't you? So if you want to do some 60mm pendant, if you want to do some right out here, big ones, you can do big ones. It's up to you what you want to do. Right, so now my pendants, I'm going to get a a little measure of these. Obviously, I want to go slightly under what it is, which is there. But remember, we're going to lose a little bit for the saw blade, which will tighten it. So it's literally just under, like that. I'm probably 1.5 mm to 2 mm under the diameter of the actual piece. Okay, and that's what we're going to transfer onto here. I've already got most of it out, look. So here's one I prepared earlier, you might as well say. Right, okay, let's get this marked up. There we are, just there. Right, let's change that. Use beading parting tool. Right, it's a bit low. Remember, I said about with the carbide, you don't ever want to be pointing up, flat or down. When you've got any type of tool, you're going to use it as a scraper. Right, now around about 8 mil deep. Right, it's about 8 mil deep. Okay. Yeah, anytime you're using any tool that you're going to use as a scraper, either dead straight or slightly down. Never go in until you've got to put it up. You'll get a nasty catch. Right, now what I want to do, I want to just put a very slight hollow into that. But just a little divot like that, okay? So we just put that little divot into that. Let's just check, make sure we're going to be okay, that that's not going in. Yeah, that's all right. That hole's going to be fine. Right, the little divot is because when you do that little curved shape to it, when you turn it round, if you do it there, when you turn it round, you want that to go in so this still sits flat. Otherwise it's very hard to get it to be dead level, and what you end up when you take your pendant out, you'll be thinner one side than you are the other side. Okay, right, that's done with that one for the moment. Right, so I can take that one off. Right, now this one goes on just for drilling. Come on, don't you mess me about, I know you fit. Right, okay. This one is just to have that 10 mil hole put through the centre. Now it's best to drill it now because it does for your lining up of where you're going to drill the main hole, okay? But it's not over because you will have to re-drill this again once we've cut it and put it back on the lathe, okay? There we go, we're all the way through. Probably going a little bit fast for that, but never mind, it's done. It's done now. Just gave a little squeal. Right. Now an important part on this now, what you've got to decide. I'll say you can make all different ones up for different things that you want to do with it. But for this now, what you've got to decide is how close to the top of your pendant do you want your hole, okay? And then what you want to do is mark that on here. Now I go, let me just put a mark on here, like so. Now I've got mine, if I can, I've got a ruler here somewhere. Right, I've got mine 10 mil, okay? So I'll be having my hole 10 mil from the top of my pendant. Keeps it nice and strong, and it does for a variety of woods then. The closer you go, the weaker it's going to be. So, right, okay. Now, obviously, this one's... If you haven't got a drill press and that, and you can't do it on a drill, I'm going to do it on the drill press. If you haven't got that, or you haven't got any big like drill bits, Forstner bits, things like that, the easiest way with this is going to be to mount it on, say, a glue block or something. Glue it on, and you're going to have to turn it off centre and do the same as I did there. You're going to have to put that hole in there, but you want it off centre, okay? So you're going to have to get it over there. How you're going to do that, that's something you're going to have to work, but pretty much if you can if you can work out where your centre hole's going to be for this hole, because that's the hole the drill bit leaves. Okay, so now that needs to be on your centre on here, and that will mean that circle will be centre, and you can turn it like that. Now it's entirely up to you what you want to do. You could have a thinner piece of wood on there. So what I could do is I could have this so this fits on my chuck, and then I could put this on, line it up for centre, and I could actually screw this to that if I wanted at this stage while it's like this. If you're not worried about having screw holes in it, they're not going to affect it, they're not going to cause any problems to this when you're using it. So you could literally, you'll have to find how far off centre you need to be, okay, and that's just going to take a little bit of working out. And then you could put that there. You could actually screw that on to there, just go round the outside edges there, okay. Don't put it where you're going to be turning this. Mount that onto your chuck, let it turn, and then you can do this hole. It's a long way round of doing it, but if you haven't got anything, you're going to have to be versatile. You're going to have to think, right, I can do it like that. You're going to have to get your thinking caps on. Right, but I've got a drill press, so I'm going to take this over to a drill press, and that's where I'm going to do this. Okay. So I'll meet you over there. Right, okay. Here I am, guys. Actually, is that light enough through that? Can you see all right?
I reckon. Yeah, it's on it.
I can...
put one more if you can.
There, I can put that
yeah, that's
light,
a bit brighter.
that light
Yeah,
on.
that's better.
Right, okay, I've got my drill bit in here. I've got a 54mm drill bit because they're 55mm pieces, and all I'm doing is lining the edge of that cutter up, okay, to that line.
That line is, yeah.
Okay, so I'm just lining that up like that. Now, on here I've got a piece of router matting which grips my piece, because this is a big one. If you haven't got that, I would suggest clamping your wood down, okay? But just take it very easy. It's a big cutter, so don't go just pushing it straight in. Deep enough. Right, I'm going to stop that at that. Right, okay, it's deep enough. So I've got that. Right, sorry, I've got that hole done. Now, the reason I'm going slow, it's not that the drill won't do it, because I've got this super duper fantastic one from Max Minster, you know.
Professional.
That they brought over from China. It's not that it won't do it, it's the fact that I'm coming down with that big bit and there's a chance it's going to try and rip this out of my hand, and I don't want that to happen. I've got the router matting on there, which really gives a lot of grip. So it's okay, and I've done quite a few of them, so I feel safe enough doing that. Right, okay, so now I'm going to put a slightly smaller bit, so do your bigger hole first. Because these drill bits, they have this point, and that needs to locate for it to centre, otherwise it'll try and skid around on you. Okay, you won't hold it. Right, now this one, I'm coming down. All this is, let me find that centre hole, that's it. All this drill bit is to go in just a few mil. That's it, done. Right, just a few mil like that, and all that is when we do the dome on the top, on the pendants, it will sit in there, okay? Because obviously I can't put that on my lathe and turn that, because it's off centre, and I don't want to have to mess about. I'll have to make another off centre chuck to do an off centre chuck. And then an off centre chuck to make the off centre chuck to do the off centre chuck. And maybe even more than that. Right, okay. Turn those lights off. Right, get this light on. Now we're going to the bandsaw. And now we've just got to cut for his. If you haven't got a bandsaw, then you will have to cut these however you cut pieces of wood.
Yeah. So it's along that cross that you've made?
Yeah, so we've just got to cut down there and down there. So basically cut it into 4 now.
Yeah.
Okay. one done. If you keep hold of it, and you don't drop it, you won't have to make a puzzle up. Right, do the other one. There we go. Now we go back to the lathe. Right, okay guys. Now we'll put this one back into the chuck. Right, so we pop it into the chuck, we just tap it all level. Like so. And we just tighten it down. Just get them all level. Okay, like so. Right, nice and tight, and that's it, that's all back in. Now we're going to put the grooves in here.
Come over for that.
We're going to put the grooves in, which are these, where are you?
Yeah, go on.
These grooves to take our
Rubber bands.
rubber bands like that. Okay, I'm going to take these ones out of here. Right, so that's what we're, I don't know if it's those grooves, so I'm going to put those ones up there, put those there. Right, okay. Right, okay, face shield on. I'm just going to use my parting tool. Now, I put 3 bands on in each slot, so you just want it deep enough to take the 3 bands, and you want it near the front and near the back. Okay. And if you can get some nice big bands and do it, that'd be even better for you. There we go. Done. You alright there?
Yeah.
You got a license for that?
No.
Right, now just going to pop my elastic bands in. I say if you can get some really nice thick strong bands to put round it, then even better. You won't have to mess about with all these single bands. And the stronger your bands can be, the better really, because a chuck won't struggle to open it. Right, okay, so there we go. They're in. So now, right, we can undo that and we can take that off our chuck. And that is our chuck. Until we need it, we can just put it wherever. Okay, that's for our doing our outsides, and it just slots on and off as you want it. You don't have to do anything to your chuck. Right, now we're going to do, I'm not going to drop it. I'm not going to drop it. Right, there we go. Now we're going to do this one the same. Yeah, that's it. Down the one. Right, just get your pieces lined up. Say nothing is overcritical for this, because you're not, like I said, this is not something you would hold bowls with or any goblets or anything like that. This is purely to hold pendants. Okay, just those little tiny wooden discs. There's no weight in it, there's nothing like that. That's all it's for, and it's just so that you can do it. If you make these up and you're doing 20 or 30 of them, then you do all your 20 or 30 in this one, then you take that one off, put that down, put this on, and then you just work on this one, and that's it. And then at the end of the day, or if halfway through you've got something else comes up, or you need to do something else, you just undo your chuck, take that off, put it there, do your work, and then just pick it up, put it straight back on your chuck. No changing chuck jaws, no messing about. That's it. Yeah, it should be alright. Right, that's that one done. I'll take the bands off of the other one for that. I couldn't afford to buy 2 lots of bands.
Got to get a mortgage out.
I'd have to get a mortgage if I wanted more elastic bands. Oh. Right, okay. Who would have thought? Shortage of elastic bands. There you go. It's all the rubber band trees, they've all gone.
Yeah.
Right, okay guys, now there we go. I've just popped them in. If you want to muck about and get them all nice and flat and, you know, pretty, then that's up to you. Right, and that's it. That's our two chucks now. So you can dump them up on the side, right on them what sizes they take, and there you go. You're good to go. So I suppose now what we should do is use them and make a pendant out of them. Right, so put it on, just hold your finger in the middle. Right, get it into open mode. And we'll put one in. Now to put it in, right, open it up. What will happen as you open it, because of its thickness, it will sort of close in at the front. So all you have to do is just pop the bits back, and it will just pop in. Like I say, it's a new one, so it's going to be tight at first. It'll get there. Let me take the key out, it'll be easier. Right, there we go. We're in. So we're in. Might have been better if I made that one a little bit bigger, actually. Oh, sorry, I'm still opening, aren't I? That's why. Right, okay. Finger on the middle and push back. Yeah, this one I could have done with this one being a bit bigger hole in the centre, actually. I think I might actually just adjust that. It's a bit tight for that, look. Now, and I did measure it. Right, so, but the beauty of it, it's adjustable. So, I don't want it open that much. So, that's where I said you can't have it that adjusted, you know, can't open it too much, because what will happen is when you're tightening, it pulls in at the front, or it opens up too much on the front and crushes. So, for that, I need to go slightly bigger. I did have different size pendants, so yeah, that one's slightly small actually. I think that might be the one I measured it for. I've got some different size pieces here, see? So let me just check before I go and alter anything. Right. Hang on. No, it's still a little bit tight. Okay, I'm just gonna make a slight adjustment to it. It won't take me a second on this. I know the other one's 54 because I actually used a 54mm drill bit. So, right. But you'll have to fiddle about with it anyway when you first get it done, just to get it dead right. But it's okay, it's all on there. Can't go nowhere, it's all held by the chuck. But once you've done it, it's done. Right, that's just under. I think that'd be alright. That'd be alright like that. So let's get it mounted in there. Right, so again, just put your finger on it so it don't come off. Open it. Pop your bit in. That's better. There we go. You want it to be virtually closed up when you've tightened it, okay? And that's why, that is also why it must sit flush on this back of the chuck. If you've got a gap, when you tighten it, what'll happen is it will pull too far, this will pull too far back and it will open at the front, okay? You've got to get it pretty much just right like that. There. Now, obviously this hasn't had one done in it, so when we make our first cut, we will cut just into the edge of the actual wooden chuck bit. That will basically go to where my slope goes in, and then all your pendants that you make, you go down to that slope. It's like your first one will set the mould for the rest of them. Again, I just take my little dibble off, go just to the middle. Right, be careful because it's going to burst off the edge, that's it. Right. Bump in there. There we go. Got no real dibble to take off as such. Fine. Right. So that's that side done. Okay. And as I said, when you've done the first one, you've come off the side, you've basically set the shape then. And then, like I said before, to turn it around, keep your finger on it, because otherwise it does just come off. Open it up. Nope, I nearly had it. I've got no nails, see? There we go. Turn it around, pop it back in. Finger on there. Tighten everything down. So you've got hold of this in the chuck. So this can't go anywhere, okay? And if this comes out, well, it's only a tiny bit of wood and it'll go down there, but it's not going to come out because it's in there. I had a chisel here somewhere. Right, okay. Right, I'm going to do a little curve both sides on this one. There we go. Like I said, I'm not sanding because I'm not finishing it. Not in that way. Right, that's it. That's our pendant done. So if you're going to do more, then like I say, keep your finger on it. Now it's got it in that way. Push it, pull it forward, just pop it back, and your pendant will come out if you're lucky. And there we go. And all we need to do is do a little bit of sanding around that edge, like so. Probably could have burst a little bit further past on that.
It's just to give an example, isn't it?
It's just, this is just an example. If I was actually making these, I'd be doing it and that bit. Right, so that's that bit done. So now we just get our chuck to where this will just pull off, and that's it. That's it. You can put that on your shelf, in your box, whatever, and it's there ready. And now we put this one on. Right, okay. Open it so it starts to open, and then we'll sort of look for where we want. We know our hole's going to be over here, so we'll look for what we want. Right there. Pop that in like so, push it back. Again, just hold it, come out of expansion, go into contract. Yep, out of expansion into contract, and there we go. We've got that one. And it's just exactly the same as what we did before, guys. But when you do this one for the first time, remember, your hole in the chuck isn't going to be in the right place. So go right through. Go through this and into that, and that way you'll set your hole. So we'll turn it down a little bit. Right, we're through there. Keep going, go through the chuck. Like so. That's it. Now set your hole now. Have a look, see what we've got. Yep, we've got our little divot. Right. Now we're gonna pop that out. Finger on it, expand it. That keeps the chuck in place. Now obviously get in there to get that out. Right, get a bit of dust out, turn it round, put our drill bit back through, come in there and right, open that up a little bit to there, right, put that in, right, come out of expansion. Oh, good job I had my mask on because I hit my head. Right, okay, start to contract, no, contractions. See, we handle contractions as simple as that. Yeah, breathe, breathe.
Breathe.
Right, there we go, guys. That's back on. Oh, don't get catch. Don't spoil it now. Not now I've got this far. That's it, that's alright. How's that look? Yeah, that's alright, that'll do. That'll do. Right, so There we go, guys, and being that that's done, I can just undo that, take that off, and just fold it over, pop that out. Oops. Right, and again, there's your other chuck. There you go. There's your pendant making chucks. They go down there. All that needs a little bit of magic sandpaper. You won't have none of this because it's not for mere mortals.
Now, Peter, you can try all you like, but to look for it, you'll never find it.
It's not mere mortal sandpaper, it's magic sandpaper. Right, there we go, guys. And there's another little pendant, okay? Like I said, it's just for showing how to make these. It's not for showing that. If I was actually doing that, I wouldn't give it a lot of sanding because that's got such a finish, but I would put a bit of wax and stuff like that and finish them off nice. Yeah. But it's just to show. Okay, it's not to show them. That's just nothing. It's just a piece of wood.
No, I'll have it though.
Oh, you'll have it, yeah. It's just to show these. So there you go, guys. I hope maybe that's been of use to you. Hope that's been of use to you, and you might find that all right. Like I say, if you can get hold of some of those thick black bands that go round, you know, a nice inch wide band or something that's really tight, that would be even better. Put 1 or 2 of those on, and that would keep it nice on there. And as I said, when you go into expansion mode, okay, what will happen is it will open and it will go forward. So all you do is you push back on it, and that allows you to pop your piece in, and then just put your finger on there, tighten down, come out of that into contract and tighten up, and that's it. And that hold them and that hold them, you can do whatever sizes you want, okay? And like I said, if you haven't got the drill bits, then just work out a way that you're going to get that on there, and you're going to put your hole in there, okay? Right, hope that's been of help, guys. As I said, one other important thing. Like I said, there's always little important bits. When you put these on your chuck, okay, do not put the lines in line with your chuck openings, okay? Put it on, twist it, put it so that the cuts are in the center of a jaw, okay? Don't put it in the lines. It works better if you get it there, okay? So that's just another little thing that I've learnt with time. It works better if you put it there. What it is, when you open it and that, when you're opening it, it works better for when you push them back to get the bits in like that. That's how you open it. You let go, put your finger on. When you come down, it closes up, and it will close it up better as well if you've got that there and not in line with the jaw openings. Right, okay, guys. No charge, all free, just to help out. Right, I'll catch you on the next one. Hope it's been of help. Toodle pip.
Bye, guys.